ready for another lesson?
Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't expecting it, but then you reached over and I saw it happening in real time, and I was like, oh, man.
It's different.
Very
It's
excited.
it
is, man.
I saw your pulse quicken a little bit.
It did. You had a little bit of a. I mean, we'll get to this later in what we're watching. We had a little bit of a Homelander moment where you kind of reading my vitals.
Always.
Yeah.
That's my.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's
that is
a little invasive.
This is my superpower that I've never told anyone about. I always know what your heart beats at.
What superpower would you guys want?
Ooh, man.
So I think about this a lot, and like obviously everyone wants like the super flashy one or something, but I think like the most useful thing in my day-to-day life is if I could speak and or read every language.
Okay, I like that, and I've thought of something like that as well.
I
think that's a good one. Yeah,
Like it would just be
like
so
you guys
handy.
Have heard, you guys have heard of like Starfire from Teen Titans?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so like one of her like passive powers is if she kisses you, she automatically knows your language.
I'll be making out with everybody.
Isn't that crazy?
What, you speak Klingon? Get over here.
Let me tell your
just
mouth.
making out with the fucking Klingons. What's
like-
up, everybody?
Mind, I'm not gonna answer.
Okay. All right. I'm glad. Is it a good thing I cut you off?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll go with that.
Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz. Welcome to this rather casual intro.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
we got a little rambly there.
it did, but it's okay. We've been pretty straightforward the past, like I would say, like 10 or 15 episodes.
And something's different this episode.
Something
we're
slightly
rambly
different.
for a reason.
Yeah, I'm back in
He's
person.
back.
But yeah, we can
then-
physically see you.
Yeah, and then I haven't seen
It's
Blake
funny because
in a while.
I'm remote.
And then Tyler decided this was his first week he was going to go remote. So
Yeah.
I guess we're going to have to wait for a 4-person Back Row Banter reunion.
Well,
the Squadron will reunite next week, hopefully.
almost. Yeah.
I figured it would be a lot, and work has been work lately. So I'm like, I'm just gonna
Work's
go
been a
home.
lot.
And
I hear you, dog.
and yeah, so I figured it'd be good to kind of get you three in one room, take a break, and then the four of us get together like next week.
Kinda
and then we're
ease
just
back
gonna go,
into it a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna go ape shit.
Yeah, we can't just.
for
Yeah, that's a good point. We can't just jump all four back into the same room. That'd be a lot.
I don't know if the room could handle it.
I don't think the room could handle it.
room
It's
just
already
cannot.
it's already pushing it
It'll collapse.
temperature wise.
That's where it started, man. And oh, dude, I totally knew it was gonna be hot there.
Oh,
I
it's-
that was like I got
it's-
home and I was like,
For
I'm
sure.
so
Warm
excited.
day.
It's gonna be so hot there.
Well, I am joined today by the recently vaxxed one, Nathaniel Gingrich.
That's right. 1 week in, so we're almost fully
I
shields up.
yeah, I
And
am
you
with
were
100
the
HP.
key.
Yeah.
100 HP.
Yeah, we're getting the buff currently.
He's chugging that chug jug. Yeah, I'm 4 days away. Thursday is when I guess I'm fully vaxxed. Excited though.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, that's me. I'm Nathaniel. What up?
What up? It's weird because I was in Missouri and Columbia before I left had like days before just lifted like all of their mask mandates.
For sure. So you're like going back.
And
into
now
it
I'm
again?
back. And now I'm back here. And it's like, shit. Now I still got to wear masks places. And I don't know. We'll see
Kind
when
of.
Illinois gets back over. Yeah, kind of.
We just got the.
There's been a lot of chatter on the internets.
Yeah.
We just got the stuff today from work that they're starting to relax on that stuff.
Good. I think they should be.
Work basically said as soon as the state mandates are lifted, we can also be lifted.
Cool.
We're ready to party.
Not bad.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
cool.
So
Well, that slightly different voice because he's remote. Well,
Digitized. I would say.
digitized. Ooh, synthesized.
He's been troned.
He's been trying. That's the remote one, Tyler
beep
Dallas.
beep boop beep boop beep beep
Ah. Beep boop boop bop.
beep boop.
Great SpongeBob episode. Hi, Tyler.
Hey guys,
Classic SpongeBob.
The office looks great, man.
I'm remote. I appreciate it. It's still working in progress,
Yeah.
and there's constantly little things I want to change and tweak. But I'm definitely. It's a good vibe in here.
Yeah, no, I can tell. I can tell from here. Blake can't even see you,
So-
but Blake, I'm letting you know it looks good.
He can take a look after.
Drawing it up in my head,
He's
man.
like the other way, but yeah. Hey, or just come check out the stream if you want to see it.
Hey,
Yeah, I'll hop in there. I've been in there a few times.
yeah.
That's true.
Yes, sir.
And that last voice over there is Big Cat Blake.
What up? What
BlakeHolder.
up?
Oh man,
How's everybody? Mental health check. How's everybody's
mental health check.
around the table?
I was thinking about that today. Pretty good. I
Good.
feel like
Good.
I have seen the light at the end of the tunnel now with COVID, and
Okay.
today I've kind of realized, you know what, it's starting to ramp back up to normal life.
Right.
You know, I
For
gotta prepare myself for regular everyday activities.
Sure.
Because COVID, man, if I had like more than 3 things in the day, I stressed out. You know, I think a lot of people got that way,
Mm-hmm.
and now I've got to kind of refocus and get back into mental shape for normal everyday life.
Yeah, it's been wacky last couple week or so for me. Very, very busy. But we're on the other side. We're working through. We all right.
Yeah. Blake, how about you, man?
Good, man. Yeah, there's been worse before, so
Yeah.
can't complain, man. There, like you said, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Mhm.
I think the world is slowly
Healing.
healing. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
able to go to movie theaters.
Exciting. we should go to one soon. We'll probably see A Quiet Place together.
We'll have
hopefully.
to. I
Yeah.
imagine.
I would assume so, because
Yeah.
the 3 of us, peeking at what we're watching, 3 gentlemen here, we kind of got together and saw Spiral.
We did.
Yeah.
We
So
dabbled.
Yeah.
I wasn't home
we'll
yet.
touch on that.
But yeah, we'll get to that in what we're watching. I'm thinking of grabbing a movie A-list.
Oh,
yeah,
A-list.
25
for the summer.
bucks, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just, bro, 2 movies, you've paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Just start
Exactly.
with
Yeah.
2 movies, bro.
I think I might.
It's a no-brainer.
Tyler, mental health check. How you doing?
We're getting there. We're getting there. Sometimes other days are better than other ones, but
For sure.
But I mean, you gotta step away sometimes and just do things like we, kind of what we were talking about, going to the movies. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that was a big one. So
Good,
big
good.
ups.
Big ups.
But yeah, all good, all good.
That's
Good
good
At
to
the
hear,
end of
man.
the day, collectively.
Great to hear. All right, well, let's get into the news here, guys.
Get me into the news. I want to be so far into the news. I only see news for the next.
that could have
next 2
gone
weeks.
so many different directions.
You want to see nudes?
No news.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah. Like if it came out yesterday, it would be old, but now it's news.
send nudes. Got it.
Well, I hate,
Send me the news.
I hate to break it to Nathaniel, but this news is from like the past week.
Oh
so-
my god, so it is old. This isn't news.
Oh man, it's as new as I can get.
Fair enough. I'll allow it.
Well, part of that new news is John Krasinski Inc.'s first look deal with Paramount. So he is
Paramount
full-
Plus. Is he making all 52 movies next year?
That'd be some
Starting
shit.
now?
That would be
Yeah.
impressive.
It would make me get it. I'll tell you that much.
No, he's sticking with Paramount for his production stuff. So
All right.
after A Quiet Place 2, he's got one more project slated with them, and then he's inked another deal to keep cranking them out with Paramount. So
Good for John.
yeah, good for John, man.
I love Krasinski.
I do too. I do too. I'm very glad that he's stuck around post Office because, I mean, besides Steve Carell, I think most of the other actors kind of fell off. Rainn Wilson kind of kicks around here and there, but
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
and I think that happens a lot of times with sitcoms.
I'm sure they're probably in other like TV shows, but when you
Mhm.
run,
Yeah.
like when you
Right.
run sitcoms that long, like it's a big project.
Yeah, Jenna Fisher's been in stuff too.
Yeah, Jenna Fisher. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that to say like all the people from The Office, but it happens in sitcoms where they end and then they're just you get stuck as a character actor and it's hard to find work after that. And I'm glad that he's broken out of that because I think he's pretty talented, especially as we'll get to when it comes to filmmaking.
For sure.
So
Agreed.
seemed like a little timely story. For our next news story, though, a bit of a follow up to something we've been reporting on frequently recently. But Edward Norton and Kathryn Hahn joined the Knives Out sequel with Dave Bautista and Ryan Howard.
I'm interested.
I am too.
Yeah,
This
I'm
is,
sold on
now with
Knives Out.
now
for
with
sure.
this cast, and I missed it, but Janelle Monáe is also signed on as well.
Is Lakeith Stanfield coming back?
Uh,
If not, we're starting the hashtag. Get
Yeah.
Lakeith back.
They haven't confirmed it.
Okay, I was just curious.
His character is positioned where I think they could bring him back.
Yeah, because he was basically his like right hand man.
I don't
right?
remember.
Right.
I don't remember if it was. Is Benoit Blanc? Wasn't he like a private detective?
He
Yes.
is, but
Yeah.
Lakeith was his guy on the
Was
on
it?
the force.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen that movie since theaters, so I just don't remember. But yeah, I think he's kind of positioned so that he could come back, and hopefully he does. But you know,
Lupin Lakeith.
yeah,
I need another L alliteration, something snazzy. We can get it out there.
I can't think of anything. Off the
But
top
yeah,
of my head
I'm
right now.
I'm sold. Have you guys all seen Knives Out, the first one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a copy of it up on the wall next to you, somewhere over there. Yeah, I'd love to do more of this. Kathryn Hahn's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Following WandaVision, I'm very excited for her casting.
Yeah.
What's the last big thing that Edward Norton's been in? He wasn't anything in 2020 as I'm looking at his IMDb.
I'm not sure.
Um,
I do
the
like
Hulk.
him in The Incredible Hulk, though. I really
Yeah,
like that
you know
movie.
what, I did
People
like it.
shit on that movie a lot for MCU, and I like it.
Edward Norton's a great actor.
He is a great actor. I don't know if I agree with you on liking that movie. I think it has, it's okay. I think
For sure.
I think people hate on it more than they probably should.
Mhm.
But I do like his Bruce Banner. I think
Yeah.
that was interesting.
Definitely.
I
Yeah,
would.
you got to look at like how far the MCU's come, and like
Exactly.
you probably wouldn't have some of the shit that we have now if we didn't have shitty movies like Hulk.
Yeah, that's
so-
true for sure.
It's got some redeeming qualities, but you're right, it's not anything to like gawk at.
Yeah, Edward Norton has been out of the spotlight, not completely. I mean, he was in Alita Bad Angel, Isle of Dogs. Those were like his last two things that are bigger, and then he did Motherless Brooklyn and a movie that's yet to be released called The French Dispatch.
And I'm pretty sure he either directed or produced Motherless Brooklyn, or slash wrote it as well. So he might have been working on that for a little.
You know what? He did
longer.
write it. That's his only writing credit. Actually.
yeah.
And he did produce it.
He has a pretty famous reputation for rewriting a lot of his own scenes.
Okay.
Which is kind of actually addressed a little bit in Birdman, which is pretty funny. But he's awesome. He's a great actor.
Yeah, he is.
I'm glad he's in this again.
Yeah.
He also does a lot of theater work too, so that might be also something he's up to or something
Sure.
like that.
Sure. Which is totally cool with me. But I'm excited for this sequel, man. As we learn more about it, I'm getting more and more hyped.
Well, they gave him enough money. So.
They gave him plenty of money. That's for sure. All right. Well, for our last news story, Free Guy and Shang-Chi to get exclusive theatrical releases. So somewhat of big news, actually, because we've been reporting a lot about how the post-pandemic industry box office is going to look like. But it looks like Shang-Chi, so the next big Marvel film after Black Widow.
Sure.
It's going to be exclusive to theaters for 45 days. Same thing with Free Guy, which is another film coming out soon.
Yeah, technically owned by Disney, but was a Fox property originally.
Yeah. Interesting. I think that 45 days seems to be kind of what's going to happen as far as the release or the new to streaming after the window that the movie's in theaters. 45 days seems to be what
Right.
the
Release
and then
window.
it'll go to
the
streaming.
release window, and then it's going to go to streaming or
Do
something.
you guys like that?
I think so.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I like it. I think that gives, it's interesting because I think for me, 45 days is a good amount of time for the movie to sit in theaters before maybe I want to watch it again or something like that. I think what's interesting is a movie where I'm kind of iffy on if I want to see it in theaters or not, what that's going to do for the box office on those kind of sales. Because if I'm not 100% sold on a movie and I'm kind of thinking, I don't know if I really want to go see it in theaters, and I know I can wait 45 days for it to come to a streaming service.
I'll just wait it out.
Maybe I'll just wait for the streaming service. And I think if that's going to be an option and we know for a fact that 45 days and then I can count on it coming to a streaming service, I think that might change a lot of minds, because before the pandemic, it was there was never really, at least as far as I know, like a guaranteed window that you knew you could go find something. And so if you'd miss it in theaters, you didn't really know how long you're going to wait.
Yeah, well, it would vary film to film.
Exactly, yeah, it would vary. But now it seems like 45 days is going to become kind of a new standard, and so I'm interested to see how that changes people's movie-going decisions, if they're going to wait for that 45 days to be over, or if they're just gonna say, hey, I'd rather go see this in theaters or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, 45 days. That's what, about 6 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, that's enough time. If you're gonna go see something, you're gonna see it within that.
Do you
6
think
weeks.
that's gonna affect revenues?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
anything will. I think revenue's already down already, so it's anything that they're getting in there is going to be good too. But you also the other thing we're not really talking about too is that there are a lot of movies that they're going to have to release this year too.
Mhm.
So it may just be also a thing of not getting in your own way from the production company's side of things. Like,
Sure.
not saying that any of those are releasing, but like if you had a Star Wars movie that you had to push, say like a Fast and Furious movie or something like that, off the slate from last year, you don't want that taking up another month and a half of your own schedule when you have, something else big that could be released in 2021 later too.
Yeah, that makes
Makes
sense.
sense.
And you're trying to line that up as much as you can with all the other releases too. So, Universal's got Fast, but Disney's got Marvel. So you got to kind of like balance all that stuff too. So
There's
I
gotta
imagine
be
that's some
somebody
of
out
that in there.
that has.
Oh,
some
it's
kind
all
of
on a
algorithm.
program and an
Yeah, like,
algorithm.
I
Yeah.
bet that's like the maximum day that they see like actual
Yeah.
upkeep in revenue, and then they're like, cool, we can cut it off. Then we really don't make that much money afterwards, and that's probably like a 3-year trend that they're looking at.
Yeah, there's some sabermetrics genius out there that's just,
Yeah.
already predicted this and had it in the bank.
He predicted COVID.
Yeah, he's just got
You
he
know,
just
years
opened up the
ago.
file cabinet and it's just had a global pandemic on one of them.
I'm interested to see what will happen, how this affects movie going decisions and everything going forward.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, one of those movies that I'd be iffy to see in theaters is in our trailer talk this week.
Oh. What one would that be?
What do we got?
We got the Forever Purge, our first trailer, our first look at what is said to be or rumored to be. I think it's actually, or confirmed to be, but I heard somewhere that it's supposed to be the last Purge movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I fucking hope so.
Because I was almost looking at this. It seems to be almost like a soft reboot in some ways. They've
It's-
gone with a little bit more name actors than I've seen in the past.
I didn't look at the
I
IMDb.
think that
for
makes
this.
me hate it more.
Does it? Oh.
Wow.
Does anybody want to see this by chance?
I was kind of like, if
Yeah.
it came to streaming, I'd
what?
keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still haven't watched any of the sequels to The Purge.
Anarchy's actually pretty good.
Yeah. But I think I'd
Is
I
that
don't-
the
I don't
second
mind
one?
the
Yeah.
Purge.
Yeah.
I think I will though. I mean, I'm still intrigued from our watching of it.
Okay,
And
yeah.
so I'm still willing to go and give those sequels a shot, and even this one potentially.
I think you guys are higher on it than I am. I mean,
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I don't think I even cared
I've
to watch
I've
that
seen the second one. The second one's pretty decent. It was enough
I
to
agree
me
with you
that
on
I'd watch this one on streaming. If it was just the first one and then this one came out, I think the trailer's strong enough for me. I'm kind of interested in what this one has to say.
It looks a lot like an action movie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'd see that.
Seems like it's
I
looking a
could
little
give you
bit.
that.
Yeah, but the Purge
more.
movies were never scary to me anyways.
No,
So
I agree.
this was always going to be. This was always more effective as a political thriller, anyways.
Yeah,
and so it seems like they're finally kind of just full on leaning into that.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the trailer, they're going to Mexico.
Yep.
Kinda. Yeah. I mean, that seems to be the goal. How did you guys feel about the trailer, though? Nathaniel, you're pretty positive on it. You liked it?
I mean, listen, it's designed to get a rise out of people. This seems purposefully written so that someone will talk about it because it is like, oh, we're going to Mexico rather than Mexico's coming to the U.S. or whatever. So, like, I think that this franchise is bold enough, if you want to call it that, to just make that decision purely because it'll make other people talk about it. That being said, I like Josh Lucas in most things, so that looks okay. And I'm a desert boy at heart too, so I always like anything set in kind of the Southwest a little bit more.
Okay.
That I always find that a little bit more interesting. It's it's hometown territory, but at least they're doing something interesting with it.
I agree.
Yeah, in
they're
my
not, they're
opinion.
not trying to just recycle the same
Right,
shit. I'll
yeah.
give you that for sure. They're definitely innovative. And the people who do the costume or
Yeah, that's
what are
always
they?
pretty good.
I don't
yeah,
know what's the term for that?
Costume design?
Costume design. Yeah.
Yeah.
Their masks are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Every movie, it makes no sense every time.
Yeah.
dude.
That's definitely one thing I think that series has going for it.
No,
'Cause even in the
for sure,
trailers, like I said, I haven't seen all the sequels, but in the first one and even the trailers of all the other ones that I've seen,
For sure.
just these costumes look crazy.
Yeah. They hit a home run on that.
Yeah,
every
for
time.
sure.
Yeah, this is one of the series that I can actually like get Caralia to to
Really?
watch with me that's like a little scary. She doesn't like scary
Sure.
stuff. She's just not in. And like when the gore comes in, she's like all out. So this is like one of the series that I get excited about because she'll actually watch it with me. So
Do you find that she also likes that little kind of element of the societal message on it too, of that it's got that little bit of a tweak to it?
But yeah, the other part too is I can kind of bend it into a home invasion.
Sure,
which,
a little bit more of an action
exactly.
genre. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't mind him at all. First one was obviously really new to the scene when it hit, in the way that it did. Obviously, had a really crazy message to put out there, and
Right.
and the second one, I think the second one was better. So
I think so too.
I'm gonna have to give those a watch. Now that I have some more time on my hands, I might get around to them.
For sure, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can move on here from trailer talk. We'll keep an eye out for the Forever Purge. Time to move to Adam Schwartz's completely subjective new to streaming list for the week of May 16th through May 22nd. Thank you. Yes, I know it's much anticipated. All right, to Netflix this Friday, you're getting Army of the Dead, which, spoiler alert, and I guess a bit of sizzle, will be our next review next week.
Yep.
This is one we've been talking about. I think we did both trailers in trailer talk, and then
I think we did, yeah.
Yep.
yeah, and then
Zack Snyder.
maybe even a news story on it or something like that. But
Flash forward to what we were watching this weekend. Obviously, it being Saturday, there was a big UFC on that I watched, and it was sponsored by Army of the Dead, I was like, generally,
yeah,
the UFC is held in Las Vegas, which would make sense, as that is the Army of the Dead where the location is, which we've talked to before. Last weekend, it was in Houston. I don't know why they decided to, like, there was a series of other events running up to this that they could have had in Vegas, and they decided to sponsor the Houston one. So,
I mean,
come
I
on,
guess
Netflix.
just closest to release date.
yeah,
you know?
it makes sense on that side of
Yeah.
things, but yeah, I thought it was funny.
Yeah, no, that is funny. Would have fit in perfectly. But yeah, go ahead, check that out, and catch our review of it next week, because we will also be checking that out.
Find out what we think. Specifically, Blake. We all want to know what Blake's thinking.
Of Army of the Dead? Yeah, I like zombies. Big zombie guy.
I like zombies, too.
I do too.
Speaking of that, how is the Resident Evil?
The new one.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it and what we're watching.
Okay.
I was gonna
Okay,
say,
cool.
I figured this was gonna be a segment for what you're watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get to it. That's it for Netflix, really. Another slow week. But to Amazon Prime and to Hulu, you're getting Red Dawn from 2012.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what that is. Anybody know what that is?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
It's the one with
it,
Chris Hemsworth and Josh Peck.
Yeah.
What's it about?
It's North
remake.
Korea. Yeah, it's a remake of a 1980s action film, but it's basically North Korea invades the United States, and so when part of the United States falls, they form like a militia group to rebel against the North Korean control.
But it's for teenagers.
Yeah, it's a group of teenagers basically.
Yeah.
How good is this movie?
If I haven't seen it
would
since
watch
theaters.
the first one.
Yeah, I was gonna say the first one's kind of a cult classic, 1980s. Patrick Swayze, Wolverines, like all of that kind of thing.
Right.
They tried to remake it in 2012 with Josh Peck and Chris Hemsworth. Not as successful.
I remember really liking it in the 6th grade. I don't know how well that opinion stands now, though.
I've never seen
Okay.
the newer version.
If I remember correctly, and if I can put on some retrospective glasses, I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Like it's okay if from what I remember, but it might be awful.
This was the movie that was like right at the time where I just started watching everything. Like it was like right after this that I just like turned into like a full on movie horror and just like started just watching anything and everything. And that lasted until about last year. Like,
Okay, yeah.
And then I got better.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what this looks like in 2021 and how I feel about it.
I think you'll be upset.
I do remember walking out of that movie because there's a scene in that movie that's like a Spec Ops like scene where they're kind of like invading a building. I remember
Yeah.
walking out of that movie and talking to my friend, and we were like, what if there was like a game that was just all like super spec op, like you're trying to invade this building and stuff,
Like
and it
Splinter Cell?
no, like Rainbow Six.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was
Because
thinking
Rainbow
of.
Six came
I was
out,
gonna
and I'm
say,
like,
yeah.
this is my shit. And I
Yeah.
always went back to seeing this movie and having that conversation walking out of the theater, and then Rainbow Six happened. I'm like, this is the shit.
It all goes back to Red Dawn, folks.
Yes, it does. It all
Well-
roads lead back to Red Dawn.
I know for a fact that Siege pisses you off, and this movie is probably gonna do the same thing.
Oh,
So
well.
you'll still have that in
All
common.
right, I'll definitely co-sign that.
All right, well, that's it for Hulu and Amazon Prime. To HBO Max, we're getting there wasn't a lot, but I did see an interesting title for a documentary. It's called "Neat: The Story of Bourbon." Let me read this this description here. Neat dives into the rich and storied world of bourbon, exploring its colorful history, charismatic characters, and uniquely American process. The film is a celebration of the artistry that makes America's only native spirit.
Well, okay then.
Yeah, it's a documentary. It's from 2018. 7.6 on IMDb, so maybe it might be worth checking out. I just saw it, sounded interesting. I want to start watching some more docs. So
I feel like you say that every time.
I
though.
do.
You
I
watch
do.
a lot of docs.
here's the thing. I'm home now. My viewing habits are no longer influenced by my girlfriend since she's not going to be here every night, so I can actually start watching the things I want to watch. Because she's not going to sit down for a documentary. Not at least not as much as I want to sit down for a documentary. So now I actually can just turn on whatever I
The
want.
sacrifices we make.
Indeed. All right, and to Disney Plus, we're getting Inside Pixar Unpacked, which is a documentary series of personal and cinematic stories that provide an inside look into the people, artistry, and culture of Pixar Animation Studios, which I think would be actually kind of interesting to check out because they are such great storytellers. If they're given some kind of secrets into how they're thinking of stories and how they're writing them and crafting them and stuff like that, I'd be really interested to see what their thought process is.
Yeah, I mean, the Inside series has gone pretty well so far for Disney Plus, I think, and I don't think they're stopping anytime soon. So keep it going.
Yeah. And the last thing is going to be Star Wars: The Bad Batch, Episode 4.
Ty, you keeping up to date?
I am.
Why don't you just kick it off with what we're watching here? Give us a little update on Bad Batch.
Oh shit.
I
Bad
wasn't
Batch has been
expecting
good.
this.
I was actually driving on my way to work today, and I was like, I'll just watch Bad Batch tomorrow. And I was like, fuck, today's Monday. We're recording. I was like, I'm an idiot. So I came home, and then we decided we were going to record till a little bit later, and I looked at Leah, and I was like, I'm putting on a nerd show.
Snuck it
I'm
in
watching
just under the bell, huh?
Yep. And she's like, how long is it? 27 minutes. She's like, all right, fine. So I was like, yes.
Good thing it wasn't a documentary.
Right. So yeah, I did get on that, and that was great.
Cool. Papa Schwartz
what
gave me his update on Bad Batch.
Yeah?
He thinks it's okay. He's not loving it.
Has he
Has
seen the other
watched
stuff?
Clone Wars?
Yeah, no, he finished Clone Wars.
Interesting.
Yeah, he went through it all, every single episode, which I was impressed with.
I can see where he's coming from after this episode, just because this is definitely a little bit more of like a filler character building kind of episode.
Was this
versus, like,
episode 3 or 4 for you, Ty?
3?
That's
Okay.
episode 3, yeah.
So yeah.
What else did you watch?
So let me pull it up here. I did actually write stuff down. So
Oh,
committed.
wow.
I know. I know. So Leah and I have been watching Murder Mountain. Finished that.
Ooh, what's that?
I think that was only 6 episodes. Murder Mountain is a docu-series on this place in Northern California. It's basically called the Emerald Triangle, but it's on a mountain. It's basically where I would say 50 to 50+% of all the marijuana comes from in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
And essentially, it's a documentary series about how many people go missing up in these mountains.
Oh,
on, like,
shit,
a
really?
yearly basis. Yeah, it's crazy. So we've been just hammering this out like pretty much every episode.
It's
while
on
we have for
Netflix,
dinner.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it, had it recommended to me, or it's probably used to be recommended to you all the time, and I just saw the trailer a million times.
I don't even know. I didn't even see this until after I moved out, so I'm not sure. Maybe it was up there. I don't know. But it mainly goes around this one guy. His name's Garrett Rodriguez. He goes missing up there. Dad like goes and like sends like everybody up there. It's wild, dude, and it's basically about how the cops just like don't give a shit.
Damn.
But it's crazy. It's wild. So we finished that. That was good. Definitely go watch that if you're into like all that crime and solving mysteries and shit.
Are they working on like a second season? Do you know?
I have no idea.
For sure.
Murder.
So got to Bad Batch. I started Westworld.
Okay. Yeah, you did text
First
about
episode. Yep.
that. You only watched one?
Yeah, just the one.
Okay.
Maybe my favorite theme song.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
TV. Like, I really like the theme song.
I would say I remember the Game of Thrones one, like, that one comes ahead easier, but the Westworld one is really good, too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told Leah, I was like, I don't know if you'll like it. I was like, I don't even know if I'll like it. I was like, sit down, watch an episode. If we get like 10 minutes into it, we don't have to watch it. I'll watch it by myself. I'll find some time. And we ended up sitting there for the whole episode.
Yeah.
So.
I think you'll like it, Ty. I don't know about Leah. Probably, if I had to guess, but
Yeah.
I think she'd find it interesting enough.
Yeah.
At least the first season.
the first season's incredible.
Hey, she went through the first episode and I gave her 10 minutes and she didn't, say no. So
Sure.
at least, I'm in there.
Yeah,
So
that's a start.
foot in the door.
Yeah.
Okay, so Justin and I used to rent this movie like non-stop when we were kids.
Double Dragon.
It's
Red Dawn.
No. Also a great movie.
Street Fighter.
No. I
Mortal
don't know if you
Kombat.
guys have ever heard about it. It's called Robot Jocks.
No.
I've not heard of this.
I've not heard
Dude.
of Robot Jocks.
So, bro, it's bad. It's so bad.
Is this like? This sounds like one of those ones that like it like tricks your grandma into buying it for you, like it's Transmorphers or something like that. One of those, or the
Transmorphers?
the Revengers or something. It's like one of the ones that you might. Ace, you're too young for
I
this.
know
but, like,
Transmorphers.
did you? Did you have a video store?
I might be thinking of the wrong thing. What's the thing?
Oh,
what's the
man,
thing?
That's a good question.
Well, I know what video stores are, but what's
you
the
ever
thing
have
with
one?
the where the it had the holographic book covers and they were
Oh, that's Animorphs.
Animorphs.
Oh man,
So
that's
close.
that's a
So close.
That's
Animorphs,
a dark
a deep
memory
cut.
for sure. Yeah, bro.
The Scholastic Book Fair. No, Transmorphers was like this. It was this from this like this production company. It was called like I think it was called Asylum Films. But whenever you went into Blockbuster, as soon as there was a huge movie that had come out, there would always be the knockoff version that like your grandma would get by accident because she'd be like, "Oh,
okay.
don't you like the Transmorphers?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Yes, Grandma, thank you, I love it." And then you'd have to watch it on there. But it was always like that. It was always like enough away from the IP that they could get away with it. So it was
Sure.
like Transmorphers, like Paranormal Asylum or something like that. Like it'll always be like just one thing off, or Paranormal Entity or something. Yeah, where was I going with this? I'm sorry.
It was that's like one of those movies sound like.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Robo Jocks.
Yes.
I'm looking it up on
So-
IMDb now.
Oh man. It's on Tubi. It's free with ads. It's a tough watch now. I haven't seen this movie in like decades.
Whoa, 89.
So I think this is where like my obsession with like giant robots or like giant monsters fighting each other comes from, because I'm telling you, Justin and I have like wore out this tape.
I think this is like one of those for RoboCop. Like I genuinely wonder if that's what this
100%.
is.
Dude, it's so bad.
Oh, it's directed
And,
by
like,
Stuart
it's-
Gordon.
I'm watching this trailer and I'm already appalled.
It's made poorly. Obviously, it's supposed to be on a budget. It is just it's
Wow.
it's
I'm kind of
god-awful.
all in on it though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Dude,
It's got
so
an aesthetic.
It's aged so bad.
No, it's kind of beautiful.
There's
I'm
no,
watching
I'm
the
not even talking
trailer.
about that. I mean, like just like the dialogue. and,
Oh,
like,
sure.
Where the jokes come from.
I'm watching it
Now
silently,
it's
so that might
looping.
be able
It's
to help.
looping the same footage. It's already played the same piece of footage in the trailer. Oh wait, no, that's new footage now. Oh, okay, I don't know what's going on.
That puppet looked pretty good.
Wow.
They're
I'm also
wild.
6 feet away and watching a 12-inch screen, so that might be helping it as well.
This is
Nathaniel, if you have time, check it out.
I'm checking out RoboJax.
Blake, it's not. Maybe because you like big robots. I mean, you guys all like big robots and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
tolerate a lot.
There's a certain charm to this, though. I think.
I'm getting the same vibes.
Is it animated? Is it
No, it's
live?
like it's clearly
it's
puppets
live
and models and stuff. But like, there's a lot of care that went into that. In
There's
some
some
ways.
character.
at that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some character to it.
100%.
It's better. Like there's a part of me that does like gets the old man yells at sky like vibe of like, you know, a physical set is still so much better than CGI. Like it just looks better.
Yeah, yeah. Where did you find this tie?
Some like objectifying of women.
So it's on Tubi.
Yeah,
Tubi. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Tubi for free. So Justin actually snapped me a picture of the title screen. And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" So I was sitting in here one night when Lee was studying, and nobody was like online or doing anything. Yeah, I can't find that thing on anywhere. Where did you find that? And he's like, Tubi, and I was like, I'm watching it right now.
That's
And,
awesome.
Tubi is the dark horse.
It was good. It was a good time. Terrible, but it was a good time.
I'm
And then I watched Yasuki.
Oh,
On Netflix.
what did you think?
I thought it was really good. There are some times where dialogue gets a little boring. You can tell
That's
that
Lakeith,
it is.
who we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Friend of the
overall,
pod.
if you're into anime, check it out. It's basically about the first African American that came over to Japan, and he was like the first black samurai. And
What's that called?
Yasuke,
Spelled
Y
yeah.
Yasuke.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
But
I'll
yeah,
have to check that out.
he's played by Lakeith Stanfield, and there's other
Okay.
famous people in it too, isn't there? Like,
There is, yeah.
but I heard it goes crazy.
Dude, it's really good. And like the very first like encounter that you get, you automatically kind of get like Afro Samurai kind of vibes.
Love
I'm
Afro
like, dude,
Samurai.
I'm in. The animation's really great. Voice acting's on point, but like I said, sometimes the dialogue gets a little tired.
For sure.
Other than that, it's a recommend for me if you enjoy anime and people getting cut in half.
Cool.
Well, we
Not
saw
bad.
Spiral this week, so
And
can
yeah,
confirm the
I was
cut in
gonna wait
half.
till you guys- Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm good. I don't know, Blake, you wanna be up next?
Yeah, I'll follow up. What did I watch this week? I watched all 3 Rush Hours.
Ooh.
Yeah, so just kind
Whoa.
of dove back into
I don't
that.
know if I've seen 3.
Really? The third one is like 2007, 2008.
I don't think I've
Or
seen
so.
that one.
They're in
I've
France,
definitely
I
seen
believe.
2. 2 is the one that I remember most because that was one of those like first like everyone's like can see a PG-13 movie kind of thing that like a bunch of our friends went to.
Yeah.
Man, I liked the first Rush Hours.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I dove back on that. I think I started that maybe Friday, or maybe Friday night or so. Yeah, Jackie Chan, awesome, good action. It's got a perfect mix of action and comedy, like
Yeah.
a perfect blend of it.
How does it hold up on the comedy side of things?
Some of the jokes are dated because there's a lot of jokes that sexualize women,
Sure.
and that's, I mean,
Different
they're
time.
still kind of funny, but it's a different time.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like, yeah, you probably shouldn't. And they're just so repetitive.
Sure,
You know
sure,
what I
sure.
mean? But that's kind of the personality that
That's Chris.
that Carter plays.
Yeah,
That's
it's Chris Tucker, right? Yeah.
So I think it's Carter Williams.
Man, that used to get me so
She's like
bad
a huge gigolo. Yeah.
as a kid. Chris Tucker, Chris Rock. The
yeah,
two
yeah.
Chris's.
All the time.
Chris Tucker's so much funnier than Chris Rock, though. Chris
Yeah.
Rock is funny too, but I think Chris Tucker's hilarious.
All
Dude.
right, fair enough.
Even just rewatching these
Yeah,
three,
all of
just
those.
his mannerisms
Yeah.
and everything is hilarious, man. But yeah, those are pretty good. Every once in a while, you'll see kind of some good supporting actors in there. So funny enough, I'm certainly going to butcher the gentleman's names. I'm not even going to say it. But the guy who plays Scorpion in the newest Mortal Kombat, he's in the third one.
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah, he's in the
Or
third one
Yuki
where I was
Tsunoda?
watching it. I'm like, oh man, he looks super familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's just kind of like somebody who's there as like a supporting like background character.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty good. Did those 3. I finished Atlanta, so both seasons of that, which I've seen before, so that was my first rewatch of that.
Are they going to do another season of that at some point?
Yeah, I think season 3 and 4 are supposed to come out sometime this summer.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of what I wanted to rewatch for. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. Excuse me. I know Adam, you said you've seen Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd like Atlanta. They're kind of similar. I think Dave's a little bit more comedic.
You keep bringing up Atlanta, and I should really check it out.
Dave's a little bit more comedic, but pretty much same premise. You know what I mean? It's a story of somebody, one of his friends is trying to be a rapper, Childish Gambino, or Donald Glover, I should say. His friend, I think it's, what is his name? The guy who plays
Tyree Henry.
Yep. And then Lakeith Stanfield. They're his 2 homies. One of them is trying to be a rapper, and he's his manager.
Okay.
So they kind of go around, and it's their story of just growing up in urban Atlanta. So like, there's gang violence. His girlfriend is I think it's Zazie. Is that how you pronounce it? Zazie Beetz?
Oh, from Deadpool 2?
From Deadpool 2. Yep.
It's either Zazie or Zazie.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
And Joker.
But yeah, correct. So she is his love interest. So it's pretty good though. They go into depth. A lot of good character development. The 3rd season, that's kind of heavily anticipated. So yeah, that's kind of all I got to. Atlanta held up really well on second watch, though. I think upon second watch, I would probably put that over Dave.
Okay.
It's got a little bit more serious tones to it.
Sure.
Where they'll touch on racial things, sexual things, things in the music industry similar to Dave. You know what I mean? So it's pretty good, pretty well rounded, and the cast is awesome. You see people from it's 4 years ago, and they're now all blossomed to be superstars. So it's pretty dope. But yeah, that's all I got to. Oh, and Spiral. I saw Spiral with Nathaniel and Ty.
How was that?
So let's get into it.
Okay, fuck
Yeah,
it. We
go.
can get into it.
It's bad. It's so bad.
Oh.
All right. I don't think it's the worst Saw movie. I would say that.
It's.
I just watched.
I mean, you
1 through 5.
You watched.
So I didn't watch 6, 7.
You
8.
watched. Yeah, you watched more than I did.
Yeah.
I barely got. I got through part of both 1 and 2 again. Yeah. But. Oh man, I did it to myself. I had high expectations.
Oh yeah,
I allowed myself. I allowed myself.
You were.
I allowed myself to be hyped, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
And man, you're right, Blake. It is exactly. It's very similar in level to the other Saws. Mm-hmm. But I think there's just so many misses in this movie. And I'm the guy that says never hate a movie. And I don't hate this movie. I don't even dislike this movie, but this movie is
it's tough.
Bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't rewatch it. Chris Rock is pretty funny. And I think a lot of times
not intentionally.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's meant to be funny. I think that's just the type of person he is.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. What did you think, Ty? Did you think it was that bad or
it's a Saw, so like it's got like that one redeeming quality about it.
I hear you, bro.
But like you want to give it so much, but like man, this thing was not good.
No, I hear you. I'll never watch this movie again.
Anytime like Chris was like trying to be serious, he just like squinted off into the camera, and it was like supposed to be serious. Like, dude, it was funny when it was not supposed to be funny. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to like Nathaniel's point last week. They just make everything so unwinnable. Like she's got to sever her spinal cord to even survive, and like she dead. She died anyways.
I'm with you too, because like that was the one where
that's when I laughed
at.
Yeah, all three of us.
Yeah.
I think we were just like,
okay. He's explaining it. Yeah, but he's like, you have to sever your spinal cord. And I'm just like, who the fuck's gonna win that? You know what I mean? Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm with you, dude.
Nah.
No, I hear you. Yeah, I don't think it's good at all.
Man, like the Chris Rock is okay in this. He's give. You know what? They took a swing. I commend them on taking a swing on it. I thought it was an interesting idea to take it in this kind of different direction, towards this more kind of anthology style almost. It seems. You know, I thought the look of the film initially had a lot going for it too. Even the idea of changing it to this kind of more police procedural kind of stuff.
I did like that aspect.
Yeah,
the most.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but just oh my god, the
execution.
The execution was just piss poor. Like, and everyone feels like they're in a different movie. The tone of the film changes scene to scene. There's so many missed shots. This movie cost $20 million. I figure Chris had to take $5 million. I think Sam takes another $2.5 million, and then there's $12 million left for it. And god damn, does it show in some of these shots. I told Tyler afterwards, I was like, there's some of these shots that it felt like a Key and Peele sketch in certain areas. Yeah. Like you change out the soundtrack in the back, and you're just like, oh my god, we're in it right now.
Yeah.
What else? There was something else I was going to say about it. Yeah, the traps. We were talking about the traps. Say what you will about the Saw franchise, but there was a certain grandeur to the kind of like madness of it. Mm-hmm. It was like it knew that it was extreme, and that's what it was going for. And I think this film proves that if you're going to take that out of it to switch it to like a different genre, then you have to back it up with something else, because there's something missing from the traps in this one. I think it and not in that we've already discussed like a lot of them felt unwinnable, but like there was like a tacky like awesomeness about the original Saw traps. Like they were so overwrought and overproduced and crazy that that's what made them awesome. While these ones, it just felt like it was like, all right, we're cutting off this again to do this or stuff to I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think either you hit it on the head when you said they're not winnable or tied. Pardon me, I forgot who said that. But yeah, just going back, like I said, and rewatching that franchise. I mean, I think it's like after the second one, you've just see they slowly like they're not even remotely winnable.
Right.
And it's really hard to watch because I think the first two are actually pretty good because the traps are winnable. Yeah. And it's something that's like, okay, like it would be difficult.
You put yourself in that position.
You're like, oh, okay, I can do that. Maybe I can. If I have to cut my hand off.
Right.
Maybe I can get away with that, but like I'm not going to remove my spine for myself or jump off you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's jump off and
as soon as there's
my jaw.
Yeah, as soon as there's an element of like, well, I just die.
Yeah.
You take yourself out of it, and that makes you uninterested in the movie. I think you hit it on the head there.
Bro. Without a doubt. So that sucks. But as kind of me and Ty said, we both kind of expected that. Like I went in here like thinking this movie's probably really gonna. But
there was other things that I thought were just like unforgivable in sort of what? Things too. In that semi spoilers for anyone who's listening who doesn't want to have anything about Spiral spoiled for them. Spoiler alert. This film, Adam, sorry. This film gives you away the ending by its blocking. It literally just blocks the information out for you in and of itself. And by that I mean, you know who the killer is 15 minutes ahead of everyone else, not because of some sort of information that was revealed to you through clever deduction, but because it's literally the only person who you don't see actually get killed.
Yeah, right.
Or it's the only person who doesn't show up in a scene, and they're like, well, the person that's not here must be the killer. And you're just like, okay, well, fine. Yeah. Which is just the ultimate sin, in my opinion. And it's just like other stuff too, whereas like there's a moment where they were Chris Rock's character is like, he's like, no. Or no, the partner, he's like, well, shouldn't we be looking at the cop angle of this? And Chris Rock's like, no, Jigsaw doesn't target cops. Like 4 of the guys that he kills in the other one are cops.
Right, yeah. There was kind of a goofy line here or there, I remember.
Just stuff where it just directly contradicts. Like, I understand you want to be separate from the other Saws to try and differentiate yourself, but there is some canon at some point here.
And they even reference John Kramer. So the original killer. So like I don't even know why it's titled like it's not part of that franchise. Like I think they definitely could have just named this fucking Saw 9 or whatever it was. And because they still mention John Kramer, you still see stuff from previous movies briefly, right? Not necessarily flashbacks how they do in the other movies, but it's not like this is a whole nother universe.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not good.
No. So don't watch it. Don't watch it. If you want to watch any Saws, or you said you haven't seen any of them, just go on HBO Max. I think you can watch the first two and get everything else. The first one minimally.
Yep.
All right.
The first one is really good.
I'd give it up to 3. 3 ends. 3 is the last one that is written story influenced by Lee
original.
Winnell and James Wan.
Yeah.
And then so if you get to 3, you can at least kind of close off that one.
I agree.
Right.
But the rest of them, you don't have to.
Yeah, the third is the worst of the original trilogy, quote unquote. The first one is like a super classic, like in the horror community. It's not that gory. It's just a totally different film than what we're talking about. It's good.
Definitely.
I'd watch that, and that's it.
Anyway, so other things on my list. I'm sorry. I had thoughts.
So not a recommend.
Not a recommend on Saw. Yeah, and that's the other thing, too. We so rarely get to be negative on movies on this podcast because we just tend to pick movies that we think we're already going to kind of like, I think, sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But I wanted to get negative there for a little bit. So because of Saw disappointing me, I decided to watch Crimson Peak, which we've talked about on the podcast.
How'd you like that? Yeah, I
before.
watched that maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it this time around. Guillermo del Toro is awesome. Say what you will.
The ghosts in that movie look dope, dude.
Yeah, I love the ghosts. I love the set design. It's really, really cool. Do yourself a favor if you have an OLED, watch it on that.
It's on Netflix, by the way.
Yes, it
Anybody
is.
who wants to watch it.
Yeah, really, really good. And kind of following up on that, I also watched The Devil's Backbone, which is Guillermo del Toro's earlier film, which is kind of described as the brother version of Pan's Labyrinth. It's set in an orphanage during the Spanish Civil War. A boy has gone missing there, which coincides with the arrival of a ghost and a bomb that is laying unexploded in the middle of the orphanage, and spooky things happen. But definitely check that one out. I think you can get that on the Criterion streaming service, which means it may be on HBO Max too, depending on the month.
I haven't seen that myself. I have to check that out.
Waz and I got to Big Hero 6, so I watched that for the first time. I liked it, but it has become a thing where everyone hyped it up so much to me that my expectations were a little bit. My own reaction could never meet their own hypeness, I think.
Sure.
But yeah, really good, fun movie for the family. Really kind of beautiful looking movie. I also think Baymax has just become so like culturally influenced too that I was like, oh, okay, I understand kind of all of his bits in this too. But really cool. I enjoyed it. Two things I've got to too. I also haven't really been talking about this, but I started Hunter x Hunter. I don't know if I talked about that last.
I think you did.
Okay.
You did.
So I've been watching a little bit more of that. The other thing we finally started was Jujutsu Kaisen as well on the actual anime.
That's one that's big up on my friend's list.
Yeah, I've read I read the first 3 or 4 chapters, maybe even a few more. But even then, as I was reading it, I kind of went into the yeah, I think this would be better as an anime to watch this. So then I kind of dropped off it, and now I finally started that. And yeah, it's really cool. It's a good time. It's there's a lot of DNA similar to Demon Slayer in some ways.
Okay.
It's made by the same studio that did Yasuke as well.
So when you say Demon Slayer, like same DNA, do you mean animation style or story wise?
More story wise. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of Demon Slayer mixed with My Hero so far.
Okay.
I think I like it a little bit better than Demon Slayer so far.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's just more I don't know, it feels a little bit more current. Like they'll reference just like figures or pop culture figures or something like that are a little bit more current than like the Demon Slayer kind of thing, obviously, which takes place a million years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really been it for me. Sorry, I went on the spiral tangent, but
don't worry about it.
That was my week so far.
Cool. I only had one thing on my list because I had finals and then I moved home, so busy week. But I've been watching The Boys.
Nice.
I've still never watched that. My dad loves that show, though.
Yeah, so does my dad.
Is this your first time through?
Yeah, this is my first time.
There's 2 seasons of
I'm
that?
in.
That's what
good?
I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, because following Invincible, after I watched that last week, I was kind of like, all right, now I got to watch The Boys, because I was on a superhero kick. I really wanted to keep watching something similar to Invincible, and I knew it was very similar to The Boys, so I figured I'd just at least check it out, see what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not in love with it as much as I thought I would be, as much as everyone hyped it up to be. I don't think it's like the most amazing show ever, and I definitely have I definitely think it has its problems, but I think it's good. You know, I like it. I would agree with you, Nathaniel, that I think Invincible's storyline, even in the first season, is better than the first season of The Boys, because I did finish the first season. I haven't started the second one yet.
I actually prefer the second season.
Yeah. Okay, good. That gets me excited because
They settle a lot more into their roles, and they go a lot more off comic run.
Okay.
Which helps the show because it needs to not be like the comics.
Sure. Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better about keeping going with it, because I was gonna finish it regardless, but I'm not. You know, it's just I don't know what it is really. I can't really put my finger on it. I think it's just maybe a little slow in some places, and there's just small gripes that kind of have added up into like something that I'm not super enjoying it. It kind of feels a little repetitive. Some of the characters, especially, I feel like Butcher. I mean, as much as I think Butcher's a great character, I do think that they just kind of keep playing the same trope over and over again with him. Of oh, he's super gruff and he's gonna be an asshole, but maybe he cares. He's got he cares a little bit. I don't know. They do all these. They keep redoing the same things with these characters over and over, and maybe that's part of it. But I'm gonna keep going with it. I'm liking it, not loving it. So we'll see. We'll see where that ends up.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, I believe that's it for our what we're watching segment. It's time to get into our main review segment here. Nathaniel, if the listener is new, or maybe they just have forgotten, can you give them a rundown of our review segment here at Back Row Banter?
I sure can. What up, new listeners / old listeners who have forgotten us but are now coming back to us? The way the main review segment works is this. It is broken down into 2 parts. Those 2 parts are the spoiler section and the non-spoiler section. We're going to start with the non-spoiler section, which is basically we introduce the movie to you, go over its IMDb page, who's in it, what year it came out, anything we think of note going on over there. We'll kind of go around the quadrant then and come up with our first reactions / recommendations. So any big things that we can point out that aren't in any way a spoiler or revelatory of any plot information or anything like that. And just at that point, we'll all go around and decide, do we recommend this movie, yes or no? Has to be yes or no. There is no nuance on the internet, as we all know. From then on, we'll move into the second part of our main review segment, which is the spoiler section, i.e. we'll go over any big spoilers or the rest of the plot, basically, and kind of sum up and finish off that story, and then kind of go a little bit deeper into our thoughts about everything, any big ideas or, big thoughts, maybe. But once that's over, we'll bring everyone on back and see where this ranks for our entropy list. So do not worry if you still want to see where it ranks. You will be we will let you know when we're going to spoiler section. That's what I was trying to say. But yeah. Join us back at the end where we see where it ranks on our entropy list, which is our big list of everything we've watched on the podcast.
Cool.
So what is this, Adam?
This is A Quiet
Place.
Yeah. 2018 directorial debut and starring one John Krasinski alongside his wife Emily Blunt, with a small cast accompanying them. Just some Maleficent. No. Not even Maleficent. Millicent. Wow, I had to get the computer closer. Small font there. Millicent Simmons, and Noah Jupe, and Cade Woodward is the lonesome kid from the beginning.
I remember.
Yeah, small cast, small story, small runtime, only 90 minutes. And you definitely, I think, feel that it does move really quickly.
It's got a very brisk pace.
Yeah, it does. And I like it for it. I wish it maybe could have spent some more time with the characters, because it did feel like maybe a little rushed, maybe too brisk. But I still like where it's at. The description reads as follows: in a post-apocalyptic world, a family is forced to live in silence while hiding from monsters with ultra-sensitive hearing. I don't love it. I don't love that summary, but
as a summary,
yeah. It's okay.
It gets to the point.
It gets
but
to the point.
The movie's definitely more in depth than that.
Yeah, I would
How about
say
this
so.
one though? This is another one that's listed under there. I know we kind of brought it up here. How about this? This one is: two parents do what it takes to keep their children safe in a world full of creatures hunting every sound they can hear. Not a sound can be heard from the family hiding in silence, but all it takes is one noise and everything can go wrong.
Wow, I love that one.
Yeah,
Now that's way better. Why isn't that the first one that comes? Why isn't that the default one?
I don't know.
IMDb, I have my gripes.
I'll send it on up the chart.
Okay, please do. Please do. Yeah, man. This is one I've talked about before on pod, but this is one where seeing it in theaters, I think, was a completely unique experience to a movie like this, where the fact that the characters aren't making a lot of sounds and there's noise in the movie, but for the most part, not a lot of dialogue, and so the movie's just very, very quiet. And watching in the theater, you were just petrified to make a sound. And I think a lot of people felt that way because if you made a sound, it kind of it was taboo to make a sound.
Right, you didn't want to ruin it for everyone else.
Exactly. Yeah, you didn't want to ruin it. It was part of the atmosphere.
I was gonna say it's more importantly part of the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you not want to make a noise because you think you might get eaten,
Mm-hmm.
and it really pulls you into that movie.
Yeah.
And we'll get to it. I'm probably a little higher on this movie than you guys are.
Yeah,
I know you guys like this movie, but I got another. I feel for this movie.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. To Adam's point, I mean, did you guys all see this in theaters when it came out?
I did.
Yeah. So I remember seeing this release day. Pretty crowded theater. When it sounds crazy in hindsight. But yeah, it's a lot, like you're saying. There was like nobody. Like sometimes you hear like laughter or people eating popcorn.
Right.
And there was literally none of that shit going on in this movie. And it's crazy when you think about it, but I mean that just shows that goes to show, just how good the theme is and the setting in this movie is. And this is one of the better horror thrillers, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean, in recent years for sure. I'm pretty high on this one with you, Ty.
Yeah, I was really high on it because this is only my second watch, first one being in theaters.
Me too.
And I was really high on it going into it, and I came, I think, a little bit lower coming out just because I don't think that it had the same effect on me as it did while watching it in theaters.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But that being said, I like being able to take a little bit more of an objective view at it. And I think it has some small plot issues, but for the most part, I think it's very compact. It's a very nice story. They build the characters they build the characters really fast, and I think they need to, and I think that's really effective in how they do so. Because you do care about this family by the end of the 90 minutes, and it's kind of impressive that they make you care so much. But I think the biggest thing is definitely that sound, as we keep going back to the sound design of how they're gonna play with silence, because movie is a lot of sound, and then also so is dialogue.
Sure.
And so they have to tell a story without much dialogue. They have subtitles for the sign language stuff, but there's not a lot of talking, and they also have to act without speaking, for the most part, because that's a whole other part of acting is voice intonation and everything like that, and so they have to act without that. So there's a lot of different things that are unique to filmmaking and movie making that they have to kind of play with and figure out how they're going to do with all these things removed from it. And I think they pull it off pretty well.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a movie with several silent performances, but you would never call it a silent film.
Sure.
Which I think is, obviously an important distinction to make between like this and something like The Artist, which won the Oscar back in 2011 or whatever that year that was. But yeah, go ahead, continue. Did you have any more kind of initial thoughts?
You
or
take off.
anything
You
like
take
that?
off.
I find this film boring.
Okay.
Even on first watch, or you're saying now?
No, on first watch, I was
You were sold?
I was
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
I was in. I've seen it twice now since then. Once last year, and I think after the last time I saw it, I just kind of felt like I didn't really need to see it again. Obviously, I watched it again for the pod, but it's a beautiful movie. It looks gorgeous. That's one thing I really noticed on this watch. I
It's
like
that OLED, baby.
I like all the performances in it. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's not. That definitely helps. But I'm talking about. I I was just color choice or in color palette. I was noticing there's a real richness to and variation to the colors that I like a lot.
Especially about halfway through when they turn on the red lights.
Yeah, I enjoyed a lot of that. I think Emily Blunt's scene in the bathtub when she's giving birth, semi-spoiler, sorry.
Sure.
That's in the trailer. Anyways, that's really great. That's an incredible scene. And I think that's it. I think there's a lot of collection of really nice scenes that I like and everything, but it just seems that every time I get kind of drawn in, there's something else that just kind of allows me to drop back out again later on. And I just, it's just...
We can maybe hopefully get into the specifics of that and spoilers.
Yeah.
I would love to know what brings you out of it a little
Well,
bit.
I honestly think I'm going to have to talk it through with you guys a little bit because I'm still not quite sure why I'm not taking to this as much as maybe you guys do. But yeah.
Okay, we can get into that in spoilers hopefully. But is it a recommend all around? Because I would certainly recommend it, especially if you haven't seen it before.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Still a recommend for me, with I guess some hesitation on the rewatches.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Well, that's a recommend all around. So if you have not seen Quiet Place, please go and do so. But we're gonna head into spoiler talk right now. So if you have not seen A Quiet Place and don't want it spoiled for you for whatever reason, go ahead and check the episode description where I will put the timestamp you can skip to the ranking of Hop Upon the Entropy list.
Hop upon.
Spoilers. Shit goes down.
Soon we will all be together to be able to do that bit.
Yeah, I can't wait. Thanks, Ty.
Yeah, I mean, this movie gets right into it.
Yeah, it doesn't waste any time. How do you guys feel about that opening?
I love the opening.
Yeah, I think I like it too.
I like it. I think it fits well in hindsight, knowing how they're doing the second one, where you're kind of seeing more of the world.
Sure, yeah.
In this one, it just starts where, like, you're just put into the situation like the characters are. Like, you don't know where these things came from. You don't know how long they've been here. Mm-hmm. You're put into a movie, it's silence.
Something I do think they do really well is give you enough clues to understand what's going on once this movie starts. Because there's that opening, after the opening sequence, there is that shot where you're kind of looking around the basement as it's like kind of scanning through, and you see the newspaper headlines, and you see John Krasinski character is like, how do you survive? Like, what are its weaknesses? All that, the whiteboard basically. And this environmental storytelling is really effective at just in like 15 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever that shot is. Bam, I know kind of what I need to know about the story.
Genuinely though, that is one of the things that took me out of it this time too. Yeah, it was the newspaper that just went, it's sound.
Yeah. Like, it's a little heavy-handed.
I was watching it this time. I was just went, oh yeah, of course. Like it just felt like I got slapped across the face with it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because then the other thing was too, I was like, no one fucking buys newspapers anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Well, 2018 when this came out. Yeah.
Well,
that's
also
fair.
they're like
That's
on a
funny.
farm.
Yeah, 100%. But it clicked into my head. It was like but the film needs this to set up the rest of the movie.
That's what I was gonna say. I understand that
part,
great, but it needs that kind of storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, you honestly don't know like what this movie's gonna kind of carry throughout, especially when you first watch. So like clearly it becomes that there's a fact that there's like no dialogue.
Right.
So you almost have to be able to paint a scene, and I think it's totally okay to be able to say it's sound or something blatant like that, because it's just it may as well slap you over the face with it instead of you trying to figure it out, and then people get pissed off and be like, well, I wish I would have known.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's it's one of those things where it felt like, again, like we said, it's something the film has to do as a fail-safe mechanism. But your audience is intelligent enough, I think, 9 times out of 10 for most of that stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, you're right, Tyler. You wouldn't want it to fall into the marketing trap of someone thinking that it's there's more performance than there is, and then being upset by it. So.
What is it that takes you out of it, Nathaniel? Let's talk through this here. Because I agree with you. There are some things where I'm just kind of where I'm like super invested, and then for some reason I'm just kind of drawn back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I don't think it's like the performances or anything like that.
I think the performances are really good.
Yeah, or
you
the
mentioned
fact
Emily
that
Blunt's scene with the pregnancy, and I think John Krasinski is great as well. He gives a lot of good, just kind of one looks at his family that kind of just immediately tell you what he's thinking.
Right.
and the kids do a great job as well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're great as well. I think I don't know. It's something to do with the story itself, and I just never really I felt suspense, but I never felt terror. I guess maybe is my issues with it, and especially upon a rewatch. In particular, maybe because it is the sound that triggers them, so you're always kind of constantly looking for things to do that, but that you can kind of read when you're safe or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But even I don't know. I think that might be it. Is that once you know its sound, it takes it. You know what what triggers the response.
Right.
That's
You know what
coming
to do to avoid the problem.
and then as soon as you hear
Right.
sound, it's just like, okay, well, it's a matter of time,
right.
and it's going to come from somewhere or something like that. Whereas something like
Predictable.
something like
Okay.
a traditional ghost story, something, there's more ways you can kind of weave that organically into your day or something like that, or anything, or into the story, I guess you mean, you know, where you're
I think
I
that's
think
a
it
really
gets
good
more
point.
towards like the middle part of like The Walking Dead, where they're just stabbing.
yeah.
They're like, we're good here.
Yeah, there's almost like because like the terror of it is those first few seconds, or those first few the day 87 or whatever, the starting moment where you don't know what's going to happen with it.
Sure.
And then I think maybe you're right, Blake. Maybe as we kind of see it in the part 2, where we see it unfold a little bit more, that will feel a little bit more natural to me. But yeah, maybe it's the time skip may have something to do with it too, where it's kind of this area where they think they kind of know what's going on, and then you just jump to okay, well, we've got a plan, and we've more or less existing now, and then you kind of see what happens when everything goes wrong. I might be more interested or more inclined to like the thing where it's we're still figuring out the problem.
Oh, yeah,
no,
for sure.
I could hear you on that, especially in like a horror thriller sense. I think that makes a little bit more sense. I do think one thing that they did do incredibly well, which they already get a ton of homage for it in general, was just already putting the principle out there of how dangerous it is when they kill a child.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
I think
it sets
the
the tone.
principle.
Yeah,
for
hell
sure.
yeah.
Of
Yeah.
like, okay, well, like you really can't make any noise because you'll die.
Yeah, I don't want to make any mistake here. This is an incredibly well-made movie.
Yeah.
You know, in contrast to Spiral, which I just tore apart earlier.
Yeah.
This kicks the shit out of it, and then kicks more dirt on it as it leaves as a movie.
Yeah.
And I will absolutely watch the second one.
Yeah.
But there's just something about it that doesn't necessarily have it. It doesn't stay with me the way a Green Room does, or something like that.
I think I'm with you a little bit, because I was telling Ty when we saw Spiral, I like this movie. This is the second time I've seen it, and I've tried to see it post theater, so in the past 3 years or whatever it is, but I can just never sit down and watch it all the way through, just because this movie's too optimal for a movie theater.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's just to me, it's just way too difficult to watch at home. And I even thought of, because Ty was like, hey, maybe you should try watching like on a phone with headphones, right? So you could sit in here with it right in front of your face. And I thought about doing that, but I was like, I'll just watch it. Just
You're saying
it's
it's because of the noise kind of thing? Okay.
Right, where I think it's just a much better setup in a theater.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of one thing I didn't really like about it. And I think there's just a handful of questions, but obviously it's a movie, so plot is always the answer.
Right.
You have to move something forward. One is that opening scene where they're walking, where they have like the mom leading the front, and then you would think the father would be following in the rear, but instead it's a fucking 4-year-old kid.
Right.
Yeah.
That just doesn't really make any sense, you know what I mean, in the grand scheme of things. But plot, it makes sense. That happens. They opt to recreate and have another baby. I don't really think that's.
I actually did the
either.
math this time too to figure out. I was like, wait, well, so could she have been pregnant beforehand? And I was like, oh no, like
I did it too. Yeah.
But plot. So I mean, I hear you on that, but those
Yeah.
things, like, it drives me insane. You know what
Sure.
I mean? It's kind of like, because anybody who's maybe not huge movie buffs like we are, like, that's just stuff that will take them out of the movie. It's like why would you have a kid? That seems stupid. You know what I mean? So a few things like that. But
I agree with you for sure, because I think for me on this watch, I was like, wow, that must be the world's quietest baby. Because no chance is that
No
thing
fucking
coming out of
way,
the womb
dude.
not screaming.
No way.
Yeah,
no. That family's toast.
I have to let it
if you
go.
have a
I have to
child.
let it go.
I don't have as hard of a
exactly. That
time.
family is fucked. Come on.
I don't have as hard of a time with that because I think again the premise of having the baby is more interesting to me.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
Within the
With the
film.
plot.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And that's why I'm like okay with it.
Yeah,
But-
and that's see, this is a perfect example of how good script writing will allow you to forgive those moments that take logical leaps. And bad script writing, like so often, leads you to point to those logic leaps as the thing. Well, the movie just didn't make sense. Well, no, the movie just didn't make sense enough, or didn't take care of you enough that you just forgave it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Where Quiet Place totally
forgive
works
it.
because
Yeah,
of that.
yeah.
We're kind of bagging on this a little bit. Tyler, you were alluding that it has worked its way pretty high up your list. So I want to hear what what about it really speaks to you so highly and everything.
A lot of it is I'm a big sound guy. It's like one of the reasons I got into home theater. It's just it's more than half the experience for me.
No, I'm right there with you.
And just being in the industry that we're in, it's important to I guess have that kind of passion for those things. But I think that's one thing that really stuck with me was just how well put this audio was.
You're talking the mix
makes
altogether.
Altogether, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the music and everything is really great. The overall like little sounds that you make to make big things happen. Like the first scene we keep talking about, the little spaceship that goes off. Not a big sound in the real world, but when the whole world is
Right, it's
quiet,
dead silent.
it's
Yeah.
the biggest sound in
Yeah.
the world.
Why have all toys had the same sound chip board in them since 1988?
Yeah, that was a gun for me.
Right,
That was a
yeah.
spaceship for me. That was a robot for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool how well they did those things. I actually did a lot of reading about this after the movie, and the fact that Millicent is like actually deaf.
Yeah, that's awesome.
John Krasinski
I'm
and
glad
Emily
you mentioned
Blunt
that.
and the whole family had to learn sign language. And they built like a really, really great relationship, and I think that's one of the big things that really puts this movie so high up to me. It's the way that they actually look like a family.
Mhm.
And they've only been able to communicate through sign language, and then create a movie off of it, and still have the facial reactions, the overall just face acting.
Sure.
Is really incredible, and I think it just really kind of pulls everything together. Obviously, there are plot holes. There are some tiny things where you're like, wait, why the fuck?
Yeah.
But I think the good definitely outweighs the bad here.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I always watch it on like either headphones or like on a sound bar that's turned all the way up or something to kind of pull you in. And so yeah, I'm just overall a big fan. I think John Krasinski kills this. Obviously, Emily Blunt's a big factor in it. But yeah, I'm just overall really big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that the lady who plays the daughter is actually deaf in real life, and yeah, that's they got a handful of interviews, and they're actually really good. If you guys haven't seen them, I remember watching it when I first seen the movie, where they go on to Tyler's point. Yeah, that you can see they have thorough and real communication,
Sure.
sign language and everything, and that
Yeah.
stuff portrays really good on film. Yeah, as kind of lost my train of thought here, but yeah, I like it overall. I like it. It might have sounded like we were bashing it a little bit. You know?
It did.
But I think we're all kind of on the same boat that this is a pretty good thriller horror movie. The Death Angels look, or whatever you want to call them, they look incredibly like the Demogorgons from Stranger Things.
Yeah,
I think
they do,
everyone's
yeah.
kind of first mentioned that. So that's kind of funny to see. And
They also look like that one. This is going to be a very niche reference for anyone who's ever traveled to an IKEA, but there's these IKEA lamps that they chandelier down from the ceiling, and they're a ball to begin with, but then as you push them in, I think you either push them in or pull it out. It like expands out the same way their heads do.
Yeah.
Yeah, with all the lights in it. You have to see it to understand it, but once you do, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
I knew you would.
We talked a lot about this movie in theaters. Do you guys think that it being a movie that is so reliant on like that theater experience and that first time watch, does that detract from it as a movie itself? Like, yes, it's not great on a rewatch, but that first watch was incredible, man.
Yes,
that
and
first
no.
watch was like anything else that I've ever really experienced, and besides like something like Avengers Endgame and like a phenomenon like that, where like the crowd experience is so, the crowd engagement is such a big part of the movie experience. I don't know. Oh, Nathaniel's now showing the lamp.
chandelier.
This does make a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
All right.
I would say it's yes and no, Adam. I mean, I think we go back and forth on that even in the entry list of like when you're ranking movies, right? Or for anything, like how high is rewatchability?
Yeah, first watch versus rewatch.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And this movie first watch is
incredible.
Phenomenal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Rewatch it might not be the greatest, but I mean, I don't think that's a detriment to it.
Yeah.
Because we mentioned a lot of good things about movies that we hold really high in the entry list. So we mentioned Hereditary. None of us have watched that since then.
Right.
And that's still a phenomenal movie. You know what I mean? So a little bit of different themes there. But yeah, I still think it's fine. Obviously, it holds up enough for them to make a second one, and everyone's still like, "Fuck it, I want to watch it."
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's something that we haven't really addressed a lot, and in this kind of breakdown a little bit so far, is that I think this is one of those quote unquote horror movies that appealed or got into kind of the mainstream public too. This was a lot of people's kind of first
PG-13 too, right?
Yeah. This was a lot of
ton.
people's kind of first introduction into more of a horror genre, that kind of thing.
This
too.
followed Get Out, and I feel like Get Out kind of had the same thing where it did enter the mainstream a little bit.
Yeah, John Krasinski has such goodwill from The Office, like
Office and
a
And,
lot of people.
and Emily Blunt does too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
she's a really good actress. I
Yeah,
like
she's
him.
great.
I think they were able to pull in a lot more of the mainstream audience with this too, for kind of a what would normally be more of a definitely a niche genre film overall.
No, yeah. I'm excited for the second one, as I keep harping. Like you said, it'll be nice to kind of see how it looked on like day one in the expansion.
Yeah, I like the idea it happens in like real time or something like that, which it seems to be a little bit more.
The trailer
set that
looks
way.
like a lot like that. But yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting to kind of see how that goes.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's always the thing with Apocalypse is Apocalypse like movies or whatever is you always want to once you see how what the apocalypse is like, you always want to see how it starts.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with The Walking Dead, and then they did Fear the Walking Dead, and
Right.
that's always a thing.
The thing I would say on the second one, I hope they don't go too much in depth of like where they're from or what they are.
Oh no,
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
Right, because
They need to stay
I
just-
rather leave it up to speculation, because what I think they are, and this is just me kind of big braining it, as Nathaniel would say. I mean, they almost seem like there's something like another alien race would put somewhere to basically
like wipe them out.
wipe out a population,
Sure.
and then they'll come there and take it over. Like I don't think
bioweapon.
they're almost like a xenomorph
Yeah.
or something like that. You know what I mean? Where it's
Sure.
like, okay, I think they're sent there to completely wash away whatever civilization was there, and then because I mean, I don't know, like what else do they fucking kill everything? Like
Right.
Yeah.
it's so
My thought is I think Aliens is definitely acceptable, and that's actually when I was watching the first time, that was kind of like what I speculated it was. This time around, I was thinking of it more from the area of like The Descent and how those creatures like evolved in caves to like adapt to their environment, and I was thinking like, what if these monsters just somehow came out of like deep underground earth where there's absolutely no light. That's why they don't even have eyes, and they've only relied on sound to hunt and kill whatever's down there wherever they came from. And then they somehow found their way to the surface of Earth, or something happened and they were released or whatever. And then they just wreaked havoc on everybody outside. But who knows? Who knows?
It'd be it'd be interesting. Just kind of speaking in this world, then like how many creatures of there is needed to like wipe out as much of the population.
Oh, yeah,
they say.
sure.
Because they say there's 3 nearby, but I mean, you would
Right.
got to think, and it seems like they can do a lot of damage.
Yeah,
but,
and they're pretty quick too.
yeah, but like you think, I mean, there's got to be hundreds of thousands of those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we'll have to see what the sequel answers
Yeah.
for us as far as how many
I was
there
gonna say,
are.
do you guys have any fear coming forward with the sequel that it will explain too much, and that will just give you
Like,
too many questions of the
or-
why didn't you live by the
yeah,
river
sure.
or
Yes.
variety of
I
that
think it's
kind of
gonna
thing.
do that, and
Yeah.
still gonna watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do think, like I said, I do think they'll go in too much into depth and not leave.
Well,
it
that's
up for
kind of what you're saying. You
speculation.
you don't want them to explain.
I don't want
anything.
them to,
Yeah,
no.
they kind of the way you get around that is you just don't. You just
don't.
take it up to what are you doing now? And Krasinski seems a smart enough writer. He seems to understand the elements of writing enough and how to subvert them, like taking the child out in the first scene and everything. The movie hits the right notes story wise of what it needs to do in the right place.
Yeah.
It's paced really well. So
And all at PG-13, as we said, which
Right.
we've already gone on here and mentioned how difficult it is to land PG-13 horror and thriller. Insidious is kind of like a one-off to that.
Yeah.
But a lot of things that we do talk about for horror movie, I mean, they're definitely rated R.
sure.
And PG-13 horror that's come from a dark place.
Yeah, that's an excellent
Me and
point.
Nathaniel know that for sure. They've,
Pulse.
yeah.
Looking at you,
Yeah, it's been a dark place, and I
the
think
messengers.
yeah, dude. So they did well. Do you think these things can kill a xenomorph, or if it was like a xenomorph
Ooh.
versus these? What do you think?
Xenomorph all day, bro.
Yeah.
These things,
I'm
you just
still on
scream
the
at 'em loud
side
enough.
of silverback gorillas.
You sad, strange little man.
No, I think I've switched sides to the grizzly bear. I've seen too much evidence now to convince me. Like grizzly bears are just not to be messed with.
Yeah. No, I think I'm with Nathaniel. I think I'm taking a xenomorph. In my opinion, is still
It's the acid blood.
It's the perfect movie predator, whatever you want to call it.
Killing
I
machine.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the perfect organism.
Yeah.
Is a xenomorph. It just reproduces and it kills.
I think that's very fair.
So that's it, man.
Well, folks, should we see where it ranks?
Throw it up there.
Let's throw it up.
Hop upon.
The Entropy list. Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and rank A Quiet Place up upon the Entropy list. For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all in one fantastic list. It is essentially our rating system. Rather than giving it a out of 10, out of 5 stars, whatever it is, this is kind of how we rate movies, is throwing up on a list. If you'd like to reference the Entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description, where it is linked to my Letterboxd. This is an interesting one.
Tough one.
This is actually really, I mean, we get a lot of movies on here, dude.
Yeah,
That's
we're up
just
to,
what it
this is
comes
going to be
down
number 51.
Yeah, dude.
I will say this. I am going to
You want to
let...
kick us off?
I can try to kick us off here. I'm going to have to figure that out. But I will say I am going to let my first viewing in theaters affect this. Not a great deal, but I think it's going to have me, it's going to influence a lot more than it normally would, just
For
because
sure.
it was so effective.
I
on
think
the
that's
first
fair.
watch.
For sure. Yeah.
I think that's allowed.
Yeah.
Let's see what you're racking with.
This is tough.
I'm just going to do it. You guys might hate me.
What are we thinking?
20.
Okay. So
20 below Kill Bill Volume 2, right above Dr. Sleep.
as soon as I pulled the list up and then I just got to looking through movies and I seen Dr. Sleep and like that was the first line I drew in my head.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, do I think it's better than Dr. Sleep?
Yeah, that caught my eye, and when I asked that question myself, it was just immediate. Yes, I think it's better than Dr. Sleep. And then I see Kill Bill Volume 2, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't go above that.
No,
so I think 20 sounds like a good spot for me personally.
Okay. I'll follow up with you. I mean, I'm kind of close with that. I mean, I do think that there's a gap between Kill Bill Volume 2 and Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, there definitely is.
I don't know if this film is the film to go between those two.
To fill
I
it.
think Dr. Sleep's a little better.
Okay.
Then even if I'm just kind of looking horror-wise, I like District 9 better than this. Frozen 2, Soul, whatever. Halloween 2018, I think that's close.
Okay.
And even The Strangers, I think I would put The Strangers above this, so I think I would follow this up after The Strangers.
Okay. So you're all the way down at 27,
Yeah.
below The Strangers, above Frozen. Okay. I'm not super upset with that because I mean even when you look at 20 through like 30, those are some solid movies. They're not amazing, but they are solid for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting tough.
Yeah.
Nathaniel, I'll toss it over to you.
Man. I'm torn. I'm very, very torn.
Talk us through it.
It's just,
Oh man, that's tough.
this last viewing, man, it really colored my. I feel like it really took a whole different opinion on it, and I'm trying to kind of factor in even to the idea of the first watch, because I really like the first watch, and there's things I like about this movie a ton, but there's just other things on these other movies that I just like better.
Okay, and that's fair. I felt like I was shooting a little higher than it was probably going to land for at 20. So you know, I'm not going to be upset if it's way lower or whatever.
I got this one at 34.
Whoa, okay.
And I was thinking you're going to be on the other side of 30 because Insidious is at 29.
Okay.
I like Insidious better than this movie. Like, and that's personal preference too. But I also,
you could convince me. Yeah.
The first watching I had of Insidious in theaters scared me so much more than this.
No,
Like-
I agree with that for sure. Even on rewatch,
Yeah.
Insidious is a little bit more unsettling.
I would agree with
than
that.
this movie.
I would agree with that. That's certainly true, I think, from a horror perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think The Descent, I'm in the same boat. And Blind Spotting was really the one that I was like, man, I have a tough time putting this above that on a film perspective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. For what it holds. Yeah.
You know?
And then there's just Tenet sitting there.
At 31, that's
Yeah.
the oddball.
You know what, man? I still haven't given Tenet a good rewatch. I still may think I might
It's on
come out
HBO
the other
Max.
side.
Please
I
do.
saw it the other day.
I think I might come out the other side swinging for.
How did you like it?
for
That's a
Tenet.
side tangent, but you watched it the other day?
I didn't watch. Sorry, I saw it on HBO Max the other day.
Oh, okay.
As I was scrolling through, and I considered it, but I just could not. I just
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's
I'm gonna
2.5
have to.
plus.
yeah. I'm gonna have to with subtitles and give it a third watch and for sure get that solid opinion. But
Yeah.
all right, so you're at. Did you give a final number?
You said 34.
34.
What are you thinking, Ty?
I'm glad I moved out.
And glad you went remote, so there's no physical risk to you.
I was gonna be up more by Adam. I'm definitely gonna stick up there. I'm sure he might change now that you guys are with, but I'm gonna stick to my guns. 20 was like probably the max that I was gonna put this. I had a really tough fight with Kill Bill, but yeah, I don't think this is supposed to scare the shit out of you. I think this is supposed to build a lot of suspense and, maybe give you a jump scare, but there wasn't even a whole lot of point to give you a jump scare except for like the very first scene. So I don't know if that's like what it was going for. I think it's just, meant to build suspense and kind of give you a different idea of what's out there other than just a ghost story or something like that.
No. I hear you.
But yeah, I like I said, I got a different feeling for this movie. So yeah, I'll probably be at 20.
Where at?
20.
You're
So
at 22.
going above Dr.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so same spot as me. So we got 2 at 20, 1 at 20. What was it, 27? Blake?
Yeah.
All right, 27, and 1 all the way down to 34.
I genuinely think it's just a preference thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
So, I mean, the middle ground will probably be where I'm at.
Yeah, the middle ground would be like 27, 26.
If you guys want to do some negotiating between that 25, 26, 27 range,
I
I'm
think.
open to that right now. If you guys want to do that quickly, or what do you guys?
Yeah,
I mean,
we can talk
honestly,
about that.
27 is the middle ground between me and Ty, and then Nathaniel. I would say let's do like 26, 25 because since we had 2 people at 20.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
We can tie? You want to put it in between Halloween and The Strangers, or do you want to tie break it with The Strangers or something,
You can
or Halloween?
Tiebreaker with The Strangers. A Quiet Place is a 7.5.
Strangers
I think
is probably
actually,
6 something.
I think Quiet Place is a better made movie than The Strangers. I think it's more on par with Halloween. And
Okay.
I think you could probably make the argument between those two if you wanted to tie break it, purely on your first watch and like genuinely like it hits all of its moments, like as we've kind of talked about a lot of times.
Yeah.
The story is really tight. The performances are really good. It looks beautiful. The sound design, as Tyler has pointed out, is incredible.
And also something I don't think we mentioned, but that I think that you talk about a lot is a movie that like not redefines, but plays with the genre and adds something new to it. I think playing the sound like this was very unique. And while other movies definitely play with sound and manipulate that, this having it be a part of the story itself, I think was very interesting.
Yeah.
No, I hear you on that.
So if we are tie breaking between Halloween 2018 and A Quiet Place,
That's got to be close.
7.5.
7.5 versus 6.5. So A Quiet Place is topping that out. So it's going to land here at 25, right below Soul and above Halloween 2018.
All right.
Solid spot.
Taking bets right now.
Sure
Do we think
Nathaniel
we
was
put
gonna sing his song.
Do we think we put A Quiet Place 2 over A Quiet Place 1?
Oh, there goes my water bottle.
It scared me.
See, sound.
We would have died
Sound,
that
man.
fast.
Yeah. Oh shit, I'm already done.
I'm telling you, headphones.
If I had to guess, it's probably gonna be below the first one.
Mm-hmm.
What did we say? I'm sorry. What was the question?
Blake asked if we think A Quiet Place 2 is gonna be above or below the first one on the Entropy list.
If we're just taking bets.
If we're just taking bets, yeah.
I'll take the under on that. I'll take the dog, whatever we think it's going to be. I'll say, hey, it's going to outshine A Quiet Place 1.
You think it's gonna go above?
It's gonna push me into it. I'm feeling lucky. I think I have faith in John Krasinski.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I don't think he'll butcher it.
I don't think it'll be much lower.
No,
I think it'll be in. It won't go below 34. I think it'll stay in that solid range.
Here's my prediction. It already seems like, if based on the trailers, there's going to be more dialogue in this film, and I think that might be enough to keep it to be enough of a change. And
it's not just going to be a repeat.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
To keep you interested and keep everything going.
I could definitely, even though I'm betting on it being under the first one, I could definitely see it being above. Like I wouldn't be shocked if it was.
Sure.
Yeah.
Ty, what do you think?
I hope it's better.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be like one of the only sequels that we know that is better.
Sure. That doesn't.
Right. That would already say a lot. Even
Yeah.
if it's close, that says a lot.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
When it comes to thrillers and horrors, you know what I mean?
But I don't know. I honestly don't know. If I had to guess, I would probably put my money on the first one, but I hope that the second one is better.
Yeah. Prove me wrong, man.
Right.
All right. Well, ranked at what was it? 25.
Yes.
Yeah, 25. We'll have to see where A Quiet Place 2 ranks in 2 weeks, because in between, for next week, we're going to be watching Army of the Dead, as we said earlier. That's coming to Netflix this Friday, which I believe is, the 21st? That sounds right?
Wednesday. No, that should be the 19th.
Friday.
20th.
20th? Okay. Somewhere around there. On Netflix, it's Zack Snyder, Dave Bautista. I don't even know who else is in there. Probably one or two other mentionable names, but no, I don't know them off the top of my head. So yeah, give that a watch and join us for our review next week. What's next here?
Speaking of reviews, how about a 5-star review?
Oh, please tell me we have another one.
You know what we have? I have it on good authority, and that we have one in the works.
Okay.
Shout out our friend Marcella. She actually just completed the entire back catalog of Back Row Banter.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yes.
That's impressive.
Started
Shout
episode
out.
1.
I'm sorry for the quality.
She Snapchatted us. Yeah, I know. That's what I told her. She Snapchatted me on Tuesday of last week with she's like, I'm making it to 50. Like, I'm all caught up. And I was like, unfortunately, in about 2 hours, you will not be.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate that. That's great to hear.
Marcel, I'm sure Matt got a couple of those in there too. So shout out Matt too.
Shout out Marcella and Matt.
But yeah. They're giving us a 5-star review. But if you want to give us a 5-star review, what will happen is we'll read it. But the only way that happens is if you give us a 5-star review. You can say that you don't like the podcast, or that you think we're dumb, or that I smell funny. But if you do that, it's got to be 5 stars, or I'm not gonna talk about it. I won't. I'll refuse.
You won't.
That's it. Share us.
Yeah. Please share it. The podcast with a friend, a family member, maybe a monster that can't really listen. Well,
Listen, if you're in a post-apocalyptic world in which sound does and will inevitably lead to your death, keep streaming us, but just maybe mute it.
They got the headphones. Apparently, you can wear headphones.
That's true.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be the ideal world to listen to us.
Sure. Yeah.
You're gonna get us in, the
You
most
have
clarity.
to, that's the only way you can. That's your only form of entertainment.
Yeah,
We do have now 52 episodes of a backlog that you have. So
that's one per week
that's a lot. That's a lot of content
for a whole year. Listen to it forwards and then backwards, and then out of order. Every other one. There's so many ways you can listen to us, folks.
Maybe odd than even.
Yeah, there you go.
Whew. Prime numbers.
And we're only adding more.
Man, I haven't even thought of Prime numbers. I can't even tell you the definition of that.
Amazon Prime.
Aren't prime numbers the numbers that you only have? They can only multiply to one in themselves, or something like that.
That's too much math for me, bro.
I don't remember.
I couldn't even tell you the definition of Prime numbers,
Okay.
dude.
Mine was called Fun with Shapes. That was my final math class.
Was it really? Geometry?
Pretty much.
Okay. All right.
I was an English major, folks.
There you go. But yeah, please share the podcast. We really want to grow, and we can't do so without you, dear listener. So go ahead and share that with a friend, family member, whoever you want, and spread the word. But while you're sharing the podcast, you can also go and follow us on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, on YouTube it's just Back Row Banter, and then our email for any questions, comments, concerns, grievances, or anything of the sort is backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Letterboxd. I'll be on there. Probably not logging anything, but every once in a while I will. That'll be BlakeHolder. So you can find me on there. You can follow people on there. It's like a regular social media type thing. Leave reviews, movies. Instagram as well as Mr. Watercooler. That's my Xbox and my PlayStation names. If you play Rainbow Six Siege or Mortal Kombat on either of those consoles, feel free to let me know, and we can get active on there.
Really quick, if you're listening and you don't have a Letterboxd, you absolutely need to get on Letterboxd.
Get on Letterboxd.
Yeah, if you're at all interested in this podcast, you would love Letterboxd. So you should go crazy.
And even if you guys don't leave reviews yourself, I mean, you can see what other people say about movies. So it's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's
for
great.
Sure. But yeah, I'll pass it on. We'll go remote. We'll go to Ty.
Go remote.
You can find me on twitch.tv/ELTRABAJO87. That's Ultra Bajo. I do stream there sometimes. I haven't streamed yet since I've been in a new place, but I'll definitely be on Thursday or Friday or both. Who knows?
Or both.
And then maybe we'll get Nathaniel set up, or we'll figure out what that's
Maybe I'll
like,
join in.
So yeah, maybe and we'll get a little 3-stream going. But yeah, you can also find me on
stream.
Instagram, Letterboxd, and Twitter at Tyler Vidalis, Vidales. Nathaniel?
Yo, I'm Nathaniel. You won't find me on Twitch this weekend because I'll be in Arizona for a wedding. Shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Family. But yeah, we'll be out there soon. But we'll be back, and yeah, maybe a little extra stream action. We'll figure it out. You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at nsgingrich. When I'm on Letterboxd, I don't really review much, but you can always see when I'm logging on movies, all my new stuff and everything that I'm watching that week. Anything new I put up there. You can follow me on Instagram at NathanielG92. You can follow my other podcast, which is all spooky all the time. That is the Sandpiper tapes. Spooky. And yeah. Popcorn Adam.
You can find me on Twitter at Aish24, on Letterboxd at Aish, which I think sometime this week I'm going to go back and try to backlog all of the things I've watched in the past 6 months since I haven't been logging stuff. Because I really need to do that, because I like keeping up to Letterboxd. It's just, it's not always conducive when usually when I finish a movie, my first thing is not let's go log it, and so until that becomes my habit, it's going to be a little bit harder. But I'm going to go back, I think, and try to get back on that. And then find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Aish. I'm not sure when the stream is going to be back, because I do want to flesh some things out, make sure everything's good to go, and maybe add some things to the stream that'll make it a little more fun, having some ideas here and there. So, but it will be coming back soon, hopefully within the next week or two. And then you can find me there pretty consistently, hopefully. I think that's going to do it here for episode 52. Join us next week for Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
I'm excited for next week because it could either be really good and it's a good surprise, and then we just get to watch a good movie, which is always fun, or it could be horrible, and then we finally get another movie to rag on. It's been a while.
It's true.
So, yeah. Catch us next week for that.
We'll see.
We'll be RB.
Hey, everyone, be excellent to each other, and we'll BRB.
Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Please like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you gotta do to help us grow. We would appreciate every little bit that you contribute, and we are very appreciative. And then, like we did earlier, throw somebody that you know, maybe somebody you haven't connected with a bit, throw them a little mental health check. People, are under a lot of stress, work, life, whatever it might be. So just give your old homies a shout out, see what's up. So otherwise, we'll BRB.
Yep, I'll follow with Ty. It's exactly what I was going to say. Check in with people, friends, family members. You never know where people's mental health is. That's pretty big in today's times. People fight anxiety, depression, all types of things. So make sure you're reaching out. Just because they aren't voicing those things directly to you doesn't mean they're not going through things. Outside of that, stay positive, and we'll BRB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
And then she passed her final.
Congrats, Leah.
Shout out, Leah.
Poggers.
Do we have any name?
You know,
name ideas?
last week when I said bet, and you were like, "You're 30," and then you just say poggers.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
I said the bet thing?
No.
No.
Ty said bet. And then
Yeah,
you were
but
like,
who roasted
"You're
him for saying
30."
bet?
you did.
I was like, I say that all the
You
time.
did.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
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 I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, you were like, "You're 30," and you just said bet.
Don't remember saying it. Anyways, you're also 30 and you taught me poggers, so I learned it from you.
Yeah, I don't even know what that
W.
means. I've never even heard that before.
It's Twitch.
Ah.
I learned
Big
it from
W.
watching you.